Islam Makhachev is not going to like this one. He's not going to be happy. Oh no. Listen, before he went out there last weekend and stunningly beat Alexander Volkanovski with a beautiful head kick, stopped him in round one. He beat the pound for pound number one fighter on the planet. He's beaten the pound for pound number one fighter on the planet 2 times in a row now. And he's still not ranked as pound for pound number one on the planet. Now, what do you think of this? Because he is not going to like it. Now, if we look at the rankings right here, there it is. Jon Jones is still the number one guy. Makhachev at 2, Volkanovski 3, Leon Edwards, Oliveira, O'Malley, Strickland, Adesanya. But the big one is, he's still number one. Jon Jones still reigns supreme. And will he still be, should I say, if he beats Stipe or if he loses to Stipe. Now, as I said, Islam's not going to like it because this was Islam before last weekend.
You know, this is what UFC champion have to do. Like a real champion. If you're a real champion, you have to take fight, doesn't matter how many days, who is gonna be, not like your pound for pound champion when they give him chills on him. If you're a real champion, you have to fight. They put him number one, the number one guy right now, who he beat last 5 fights. We don't have some name from top pound for pound rankings. And
This is number one bullshit.
This is number one bullshit.
It's not really. That's what he would obviously say. But and I do feel for Islam because the reality is he's doing incredible things. And he's there. He's number 2. It's not a bad spot to be in. Now, Islam Makhachev wants to be the pound for pound number one. He wants to make history. He wants to be a 2-weight division champion. The problem is you can't just forget about the resume of a Jon Jones. What Jon Jones did was unbelievable. And it's the length of time that the dominance has been going on for. I mean, we got to go back. I mean, it's a long way. When did he sign with the UFC? 2008. He has reigned supreme. He has never been defeated other than a disqualification to Matt Hamill in a fight that he shouldn't have been disqualified for. He absolutely marmalized Matt Hamill. Now, the last few fights, Cyril Gane, Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, right? All good opponents. Cyril Gane's a very, very tough opponent, but I hear Islam's point. He's not on the pound for pound rankings list. As I say, when you look at them here, no, he's nowhere to be seen. Even though Cyril Gane is a very, very tough guy, tough matchup, great striker, can't really wrestle the best, okay? So I understand Islam's point. However, you know, when you look at the reign of dominance that he went on, it was unbelievable, right? So it's no disrespect to Islam Makhachev that I probably agree with this. Granted, the frustrating thing for him is that, you know, he just beat the pound for pound number one, right? 2 times in a row. So one would think, I mean, last time he beat Volkanovski, he was still number 2. Volkanovski was 1, right? This time he beats Volkanovski and he's still number 2. Okay, so it doesn't make sense from his perspective, and I totally get that perspective. If you look at the people that he's beaten, though, outside of Volkanovski and Charles Oliveira, which were stunning wins, it drops down a little bit. And it's not like they're easy fights. Bobby Green just got a 33-second knockout. Dan Hooker just beat Jalen Turner. Thiago Moises, very technical. Drew Dober's a hard-hitting son of a bitch. David Ramos, Arman Sarukian, Kajan Johnson, Gleison Tebow, Nick Lentz. You get the point. You see what I'm saying? These aren't a run of legends like Jon Jones has been through. You know, Quinton Rampage Jackson. Granted, the last few fights at light heavyweight maybe weren't the best, and Cyril Gane, he was the number 1 contender at that time. So you can't forget that. Alexander Gustafsson, huge win. Daniel Cormier, Glover Teixeira, Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, Rashad Evans. These are very, very good wins. But granted, they were around 2011, 2012, 13. So time changes everything. That was a long time ago. The recent win was over Cyril Gane. So what do you think? Do you think Islam Makhachev should be the pound for pound number 1? And what will it take for that to happen? Because the reality is if Stipe goes out there and loses to Jon Jones, which I'm sure a lot of people think is going to happen, right? Stipe is capable of causing an upset here and rocking the boat and giving Islam what he wants. If Jones loses, Islam will take that top spot, that's for sure. Okay, but if Jones wins, he's just beaten the greatest heavyweight of all time. And of course, we've only got a few weeks to wait until that one goes down. It's going to be a very compelling matchup. What kind of Stipe is going to show up? He hasn't been in the octagon for about 3 years. Jon Jones just fought recently. He looked incredible, but the questions were not answered. You know, how will he fare over 5 rounds? Can he take a heavyweight punch from somebody like Stipe? So there's a lot on the line there for Jon Jones. Not only legacy, not only money, not only being the champ, but also the pound for pound number one, and potentially ending his career as the number one guy to ever do it. Now, for Islam, he's still young. I think he's 31 years old. So he's still got plenty of time. And he wants to do great things himself. He wants to do something that Jon Jones has done, become a 2-weight division champion. However, he's trying to become a simultaneous 2-weight division champion. Only 4 people to do that. Nunes, McGregor. There's a couple of others. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But if he does that, he'll become the pound for pound number one. And to be fair, opinions are like arseholes. We know this. This is just the opinion of the press. He had an incredible win at the weekend. He should be ridiculously proud of himself. The way that he took Volkanovski out, who was the pound for pound number one, was phenomenal. I don't think anybody saw that, not that quickly. Maybe himself, maybe his team, maybe Khabib Nurmagomedov. People on the inside, they probably believed that and they felt that it was going to happen. But outside of that, I think the world was shocked. We've never seen Volkanovski taken out like that in stunning fashion. So, Islam, don't worry about it, bro. It's going to be good, right? Who's he going to fight next? Probably, well, he wants to fight the winner of Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. Okay, and in fact, he was even asked if he would be the backup fighter for that fight, which I think is a big mistake. I don't think he should do that. Islam Makhachev, the standing that he has, the level of fighter that he is, I wouldn't necessarily advise that he goes to become a backup fighter because, you know, the hype, the build-up, the anticipation for the fight wouldn't be quite the same if he steps in on 24 hours notice. Somebody like Islam and the level that he's at right now, you know, you want to see that build up properly and he wants to have time to really prepare for that. Stepping up on relatively short notice at a weight class above, we just saw what happened to Volkanovski. Volkanovski dared to be great and sadly, it didn't happen. But hey, the man's got gigantic balls. To do that was unbelievable. So I understand the frustration for Islam Makhachev. But if you ask me, the pound for pound number one is still Jon Jones. But a lot can change. One more win for Islam, maybe over Oliveira, probably over Gaethje. In fact, if he beats both of them, if he beats Gaethje and he beats Oliveira, he will undoubtedly take that spot. And they're both tough fights. I would probably favour him once again to beat Charles Oliveira because the first time made it look easy. Justin Gaethje, that's fresh meat. That's a fresh opponent. Michael Chandler's out there saying that he beats him. He's got his hands full with Conor McGregor right now. Beneil Dariush. There's a bunch of great fights for Islam at lightweight. But the reality is until he takes them, he's not yet, in my very humble opinion, the pound for pound number one. Still, there we go. It's not a bad argument, is it? Who's number one or number two? You know what I mean? It's not exactly getting slapped in the face, is it? You're not being disrespected. They're just having more respect or putting more gravitas on the achievements of Jon Jones, the pound for pound number one. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, ring the bell.